حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي كان موجودا قبل حدوث الأشياء ويبقى بعد فناء الأشياء تفرد بالأولية والقدم ووسم كل شيء ما عداه بالفناء والعدم كما قال عز شأنه كل شيء هالك إلا وجهه وكل نفس ذائقة الموت وقال كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام سبحان من لا يخفى على اختلاف النيات ولا يعزب عنه ماس العباد في الخلوات سبحان الله الذي منه خلقة العباد وإليه المعاد فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يره ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يره نشهد أن لا إله إلا هو الملك الذي لا ينازع في ملكه ولا يضاد في حكمه يعذب من يشاء بما يشاء كيف يشاء ويرحم من يشاء بما يشاء كيف يشاء تعذيبه المسيئين عدل وعفوه تفضل ونشهد أن محمدا سيد المرسلين وخير المبشرين والمنذرين صلى الله عليه وآله الهداة المهديين من ركب سفينتهم نجا واهتدى ومن تخلف عنها ضل فغرق وهوى أوصيكم عباد الله بالاعتصام بالتقوى فإنه حبل متين وعروة وثقى فقد قال أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب عليه الصلاة والسلام حريزا دينه ميتا شهوته مكذوبا غيظه الخير منه مأمول والشر منه مأمون صلوات على محمد وآل Muhammad. As we go through these days and these nights in which we commemorate the shahadat of Mawla Muttaqiyan Amir al-Mu'mineen Yasubuddin Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam, we remind ourselves of some of the kalamat and the words of that great man who left behind this legacy which is enough for the guidance of mankind. I chose this segment from one of the khutbahs of Amir al-Mu'mineen in Nahj al-Balagha, where Imam says that harizan deenuhu, when he speaks about the attributes of those who are pious and muttaqeen, Imam speaks by saying harizan deenuhu mayyatan shahwatuhu. While short words, single words, sentences are small, yet they're filled and packed with the matalib that require entire sessions like Jummah khutbah and majalis. He says, you will see muttaqeen is someone whose religion is safe, his desires are dead, and his anger is suppressed. Good alone is expected from him, evil from him is not to be feared. These are just not the qualities of a muttaqi. Rather, this should be a charter of any human being for that matter. There should be a charter for at least those who embrace the religion of Islam for that matter. That one shouldn't expect any evil from you. People should only feel safety from you. The moment you say, Assalamu alaikum, what does that mean? It means that I'm saying, peace be upon you, and you respond by saying, Wa alaikum assalam, and upon you be peace, meaning as long as you and I are in each other's company, we can feel safe from one another. There's safety that is established, this immunity which is being given. So among the attributes of muttaqeen are that his religion and beliefs are protected from the affairs which cause defect and damage. Now, of course, your deen is always under attack. And when it is under attack, something which goes under attack and under scrutiny, it is prone not itself to change, but cause some sort of doubt in the minds of those who adhere to it. So the deen will not be tampered with, because the one who sent this deen, the one who sent this book, has given the authority to protect it, has advised us that he will protect it. But those who are the followers, their iman and the weakness of their iman and the greatness of their iman depends how great or weak their iman is. There could be levels of iman, right? There were people in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam. We are far away from the time of Rasulullah, so there's a different story. But you won't see the same level of people in the time of Rasulullah even. You have people like Abu Talib, and then you have people like Abu Sufyan and Abu Jahl. You have people like Salman and Miqdad and Ammar, and then you had the other companions of Rasulullah. So there was different level of mayar and as far as their iman is concerned. So muttaqi is someone though, Imam, according to Imam in this khutbah, he says that his beliefs are protected from the affairs which cause defect and damage. Faith and belief, whether followed or proven through evidence, is prone to weakness, is prone to attacks, is prone to, people causing doubts in it. Destruction with doubts and obstruction, unless, of course, knowledge that emerges in the form of certainty that cannot be questioned and it will not go wrong. For example, if Imam-e-Waqt has said something, or if Imam-e-Waqt, who's vested with authority from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is standing by it, that there's it is not possible for anyone to question his authority, then of course this deen remains intact, since the possessor of this knowledge knows that the reality is the same which he or she has felt and is delivering. A lot of time, and I'll make it simpler, that when a person like me stands on the podium and try to deliver the message of Islam, there are a lot of things that persons like me, talib ilm, still haven't understood, because we're not even close to the ilm of Ma'soom, let alone the great maraja that we have. So there are levels of knowledge and ilm. There are many concepts which probably are not even clear cut for me yet. And therefore, if I want to go ahead and advocate that, I might have difficulty advocating it, because it's not completely, black and white for me yet. But with that said, I don't have as littlest of the doubt in reference to the authority of that thing. When it comes to the concept of imamat, which is of course roz roshan ki tarah ma'loom hai, everybody knows, there's no doubt about it, no one can cast any doubt about it. But in order to understand the depths of this imamat, many people fell behind. So therefore we see that one of the commentators of Nahj al-Balagha, contemporary of many of you, Ayatollah Khouy, he said, or he considered religion being safe from doubts and suspicion. He said that encompasses everything which could result in defecting the religion. Muttaqeen protect their religion similar to the way people of this world protect their valuables. So when that concept comes into you, that you are similar, if not more, the resemblance is given just so that you can draw, taqarrub dhihni, that how do I protect my valuables? Do I leave my valuables out laying in front of the eyes of na-mahram? Do I leave my valuables out in front of those who might be able to take it? Or no, I protect my valuables. I protect it in many ways. By putting in the bank, for example, by putting in a locker, for example, by keeping it safe inside the house, for example, away from an onlooker's eye, because shaitan can tempt anyone. When I protect my valuables like that, Ayatollah Khouy says, muttaqeen are similar when it comes to their religion. They protect their religion in the same exact way. Books of history are filled with examples of those people who sold their religion for a few luxuries. There are many examples throughout the history from the time of Rasulullah. The concept, the chapter which is recommended to be recited in Salatul Jumu'ah in the second rakat is Surah Munafiqun. What was it revealed on? People in our time? No, Surah Munafiqun was revealed for people that lived in the time of Rasulullah. So why do you even complain that they weren't munafiqeen at that time? So allegiance to some of these self-claimed Umayyad and Abbasid caliphs, such as Harun al-Rashid, whose biggest crime was to kill our seventh Imam, Imam Musa ibn Ja'far al-Kadhim alayhi salatu wassalam. And there were people who put a price tag on everything. You know, Hamid ibn Qahtaba al-Ta'i, he says, I was summoned by the caliph who asked me, what can I do for him? I told him, my soul and wealth are at your service. He said, go away. Later, he called me again and asked me the same question. Then I said, I can sacrifice my family for you. He said, go away. Third time, he called me and he asked me the same exact question, what can you do for me? He said, I will sacrifice my religion for you. Harun gave me the task. He said, come forward now. When he said, I'll give my life, he said, go away. I don't need that. There are plenty who can give life. He said, I'll give my family away. He said, there are plenty who are going to sacrifice their families. The moment he says, I'll sell my religion and my faith for your sake, he said, now you are worthy of my company. Now come closer. Now I can utilize you. Because when it comes to family, when it comes to yourself, yeah, there are many I can find like you. But there are very few who will be able to sell as far as their deen and their madhab is concerned. What did Harun ask him to do? He said he sent me with his special servant and ordered me to behead 60 people from the progeny of Bibi Fatmatul Zahra salamullahi alayha and throw them into the well. I was informed that these are the Sadat directly from the progeny of Ali and Batul. Kill them. Not questioning the reason behind killing them, I went ahead and did that. Likewise, you have a person in the history by the name Ibn Muslim Ibn Aqba. In fact, Mu'arrakhin don't want to call him Muslim for what he did. They want to call him Musrif Ibn Aqba, who played a major role in the event of Harra after Karbala. Of course, the event which the sanctity of Medina was desecrated, 1,700 Ansar and Muhajirin were killed, 80 Ashab of Badr were killed, and 10,000 other were also victim of it. When asked about his fate towards the end of life, Muslim ibn Aqba said, I will embrace paradise for being obedient to my caliph. What I did. And then when he was asked prior to this that, what about Kaaba? Now you have desecrated Medina. The next call is to go ahead and desecrate Kaaba. He said, the command of my Amir is superior to even Kaaba. So that's the loyalty that these figures in the history had. We see the allegiance to the similar false caliphate even today in the form of ISIS or ISK, whatever the name may be, and different names and forms that they appear. It is really astonishing to see how many people are misled by this group and showing loyalty either financially or physically. And they're so loyal. They're willing to go ahead and attack a school where there are students who are not ready to fight. They're willing to go ahead and attack a mosque where worshippers are nihatte, without weapons. They did not go to the mosque with weapons in their hands. They were praying, fulfilling their ibadat. And not too long ago, let's not forget, Qissa Khani Bazar, that event that took place over a month ago, that is still should be fresh in our minds, that what happened. So all of these incidents and what these people and perpetrators are capable of doing, think the link in the history, that this is not something new. There have always been people who were bought and they were able to sell their faith. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Likewise, Tabari and Ibn Athir narrate that Muawiyah bribed people in order to achieve his high goals. Some of the tribal leaders came to see him, and among them was a person by the name Hattat ibn Mujashi'i. Muawiyah gave each one of the tribal leaders 100,000 dinars, except Hattat, who received 70,000. He asked, why did you do that? What's the disparity? Why the disparity behind this? Muawiyah told him the reason is that I have bought their religions from them, for which they received more money, but I haven't been able to buy your religion from you yet. The moment you sell your religion, yes, your stipend will also go up to 100,000. Why are these people after this khilafat, if you want to call it, or this rulership, if you want to call it, this establishment of this caliphate? And even we see today in a world that people are hungry for this power, that they want to be head of a state. And just recent developments in Pakistan, I'm sure you've all been following very closely, that one government is toppled, the other one comes in, and then the other one repeats the same mistakes, and then this is sort of continuous, and people are fooled into believing that this newcomer is our well-wisher. How much love people have for this, this leadership that they want to claim for themselves. Look in the words of Amirul Mu'mineen, Imam al-Muttaqeen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam, who said, Ala hurrun yada'u hadhihi al-lumadhata li ahliha. He said, is there no free man who can leave this chewed morsel to those who like it? According to Ali, this leadership or this world is merely a chewed morsel. Look at the istilah that he's using. That's why it's at the highest peak of fasahat. He could have used any word. What is a chewed morsel? आपने एक निवाला मुंह में चबाया और फिर थूक दिया. You chewed something and then you spit it out. Is there any value to that chewed item that came out of your mouth? Forget about any value. Nobody would want to get close to it. It is part of trash. Throw it away. Imam is comparing this world as well as this, your established hukumat, if you want to call it, that you want to place me on top of this now as your fourth one. Imam compares this to what? He says, is there no free man who can leave this chewed morsel of the world to those who like it? Certainly the only price for your soul is paradise, so don't sell your soul for anything less than that. Salawat bi Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So coming back to the protection of faith and deen, that is very important, brothers and sisters. There are a lot of attacks on madhab. One of the attributes of mujtahid and faqih mentioned by our 11th Imam is sa'inan li nafsihi wa hafizan li deenihi. That mujtahid, jami' shara'it, the one who you follow and you do their taqleed, is someone sa'inan li nafsihi, siyanat nafs. They protect their nufus wa hafizan li deenihi, and they protect the deen as well. Sa'inan li nafsihi comes before protection of the deen. Because if I'm not able to protect my nafs, how am I going to be able to protect anything else? If I'm not able to procure and safeguard myself, then how am I going to be able to provide security and immunity to anyone else? How many times have you sat in an airplane and it says that in the case of emergency, when the masks come down, put your mask on first and then help the person sitting next to you? Why? Because if you start helping others, you will not get anywhere. But if you were able to help yourself first, then you'll be able to help many people in your surrounding. That's why one of the sharait of mujtahid is also sa'inan li nafsihi. He protects his nafs first. Once his nafs is at that peak of protection, then yes, he is also considered hafizan li deenihi. Controlling carnal desires doesn't mean destroying it completely. Rather, it is something which has been condemned in our Islamic culture as well. Imam used the word mayyitan as euphemism for compliance, since deceased is unable to show rebellious after death. Person who dies, you don't expect them to show any baghawat. Carnal desires are similar. If they are let loose, they can lead mankind toward destruction. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam said, ثلاث أخافهن على أمتي من بعدي الضلالة بعد المعرفة والمضلات الفتن وَشَهْوَةُ الْبَطْنِ وَالْفَرْجِ. Prophet said, I'm afraid of three things for my ummah after I leave. Going astray behind, being misled after recognition. Ma'arifat has come to them, but they are still going astray. How much more does this need to become clear for you? So going astray or being misled after recognition. Inability to cope with the tests and tribulations. Don't get worried. When you face calamities after calamities, that is it. I'm leaving this deen, I'm leaving this religion. No. Inability to cope with tests and tribulations. And lastly, Rasulullah said, which is an individual sort of thing. Shahwatul batni wal farj. Carnal desires, controlling that. To that importance that Rasulullah is placing this in these three important things. One of them is the carnal desires. So there are many traditions in this regard. It is a subject which has been discussed in details, and its devastating effects can lead mankind toward inhumane character. We read in a hadith, it says, "Al-jahilu abdu shahwatihi." An ignorant is a servant of his desires. A strong relationship can be seen between these two segments of the sermon of Amir al-Mu'mineen, when he starts out by saying his religion is safe and his desires are dead. In the beginning, you might say, why Imam is mentioning these two back to back? Religion is safe and desire is dead. Why is he mentioning these two together? Now it makes sense. Because when the desires get sulta and they get control of insan, then of course religion will not remain safe. There won't be any boundaries for this individual. That's why you will see his anger suppressed. Good alone is expected from him. Evil from him is not to be feared. That which is condemned in the extravagance in it, Imam says, quoting Rasulullah, "Al-ghadabu yufsidul iman kama yufsidul khallul asal." He said, anger corrupts the faith similar to how vinegar can spoil honey. That's how religion can be tampered with and destroyed. So it's important that while we are here in these nights, in these days, to commemorate the martyrdom of a person who stood for adalat, person who was martyred for his principles, لِشِدَّةِ عَدْلِهِ, as George Jordak said, we try to see if there's adalat in us as well. Are we also adil? We are commemorating the shahadat of the one who was at the peak of adalat. Are we also just when it comes to the matters pertaining to our families? When it comes to the matters pertaining to our siblings? When it comes to matters pertaining to our society and our community and our relatives? This adalat is lacking there, yet we are there to go ahead and commemorate the adil tareen shakhs of this universe. So therefore, this is something which we need to remind ourselves when we shed tears for Molana Muttaqiyan. The sad story, the person, when Rasulullah had said, "O Ali, do you know who's Shaqi Tareen? Ashqan Nas?" That was the question. Who was the first Ashqan Nas? He said, who was it? He said, the one who killed Naqi Salih. Right? He said, who's the last of the Ashqan Nas? Rasulullah said, the one who will strike you on your head. Ibn Muljim, the one who will strike you on the head, is the Ashqan Nas from the Akhareen. From Awwaleen was the one who struck Naqi Salih. From the last ones is the one who will strike you, O Ali. And that's why the nida came, Tahaddamat Wallahi Arkanul Huda. Indeed, the arkan and the elements of hidayat are now shaken up. Indeed, Amir al-Mu'mineen has been martyred. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in these days, in these nights in which we commemorate, that He gives us the ability to stay firm and steadfast on the vilayat of Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that on the day of judgment we are benefiting from the shafa'at of Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam, and that we are mahshur with Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam. Inna asal hadith wa ablagh al-mu'idha kitabullah, a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, bismillahir rahmanir rahim, wal asr innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilus salihati wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحليم الكريم غافر الذنب وقابل التوب وهو الغفور الرحيم سبحان من سبقت رحمته وذبه وبسط اليدين بالرحمة سبحان من لم يكلف نفسا إلا دون وسعها وعفى عن السيئات ولم يجاز بها سبحان من لا يزداد على معاصي العباد إلا كرما وجودا ولا كثرة الذنوب إلا عفوا وصفحا نشهد أن لا إله إلا هو اللطوف على العباد بجوده والعباد المذنبين بحلمه ونشهد أن محمدا نبيه وحبيبه سيد المرسلين وشفيع المذنبين بعثه رحمة للعالمين ألا قد أمركم الله في محكم كتابه بالصلاة على نبيه وحبيبه فقال تعليما لكم وتشريفا لصفيه إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. Before I finish off the remaining Arabic khutbah, just important to know that in the month of Ramadan, of course, when we are fasting, for those who live at a distance from masjid, whose salat is normally qasr here, if you want to come for Salatul Jum'ah, you got to make sure that you wait until it's time of zawal, then you leave to come for Jum'ah. Because if you leave your boundary where your salat becomes qasr before the time of zawal, and if you are here, then of course your fast will not be intact and the fast for that day will be gone due to a genuine reason, which is to travel, right? Ayat of Quran, Surah Baqarah 185 talks about it. Kuntum ala safarin, if this is considered to be safar, which you go beyond the boundary which has been set 28 miles return, then your fast will be gone, and therefore you normally come to perform Jummah here. That does not mean the fact that you pray qasr here, your fast will not be intact. So either you can leave at a time of zawal from that hadd tarakhus. So what is that hadd tarakhus? For example, the boundary of your house. Let's say if masjid is about 15 miles or 16 miles, your namaz is qasr here. From the boundary of your house, you go to the distance of just about 13 and a half to 14 miles. Wait there until it's 1 o'clock or 12:58, 59, whatever the time of zawal is. Once the time of zawal has set in, then you move forward. This is, shara'an, this is allowed. And then your fast for that day, because you have traveled after zawal, your fast for that day will be intact. But in any case, if you do miss your fast for travel, it's genuine reason and there's nothing wrong. And all you need to do is make up the qadha afterwards, and there isn't any kafara upon you. Even if you don't know the masala and you continued fasting, you learn it afterwards, you have to make up the qadha because the fast is broken and the fast is gone. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. اللهم صل على سيد المرسلين وشفيع المذنبين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وعلى إمام المسلمين وقائد الغر المحجلين أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى سيدة نساء العالمين وبذة خاتم النبيين سيدتنا فاطمة بنت رسول الله صلوات الله عليها وعلى الحسن المجتبى والحسين الشهيد بكربلاء وعلي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن ابن علي عليهم الصلاة والسلام. اللهم صل على مولانا صاحب الزمان ما هي آثار البدع والطغيان هادم أبنية الشرك والنفاق حاسد فروع البغي والشقاق صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى آباء الكرام اتصلت الليالي والأيام. اللهم عجل فرجا وسهل مخرجا واكحل ناظرنا بنظرة منا إليه واجعلنا من المستشهدين بين يديه وتفضل على أمرائنا المؤمنين بمزيد التوفيقات وازدياد الإقبال وألو الدرجات. اللهم افعل بما ما أنت أهله ولا تفعل بنا ما نحن أهله بجاه محمد وآله المعصومين صلوات الله عليهم أجمعين. اللهم اجعلنا ممن يذكر فتنفع ذكره. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن عليا ولي الله أشهد أن عليا وأولاده المعصومين حجج الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يسبح لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض الملك القدوس العزيز الحكيم هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين وآخرين منهم لما يلحقوا بهم وهو العزيز الحكيم ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء والله ذو الفضل العظيم مثل الذين حملوا التوراة ثم لم يحملوها كمثل الحمار يحمل أسفارا بئس مثل القوم الذين كذبوا بآيات الله والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين. قل يا أيها الذين هادوا إن زعمتم أنكم أولياء لله من دون الناس فتمنوا الموت إن كنتم صادقين ولا يتمنونه أبدا بما قدمت أيديهم والله عليم بالظالمين. قل إن الموت الذي تفرون منه فإنه ملاقيكم ثم تردون إلى عالم الغيب والشهادة فينبئكم بما كنتم تعملون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. فإذا قضيت الصلاة فانتشروا في الأرض وابتغوا من فضل الله واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون. وإذا رأوا تجارة أو لهوا انفضوا إليها وتركوك قائمة قل ما عند الله خير من اللهو ومن التجارة والله خير الرازقين. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار بجاه محمد وآله الأطهار. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العالى وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العالى وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمد. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. ربنا أفرغ علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين بجاه محمد وآله الطاهرين. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. يا لطيف ارحم عبدك الضيف. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. تسبيح جناب فاطمة الزهراء سلام الله عليها. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم الرحمن الرحيم ذو الجلال والإكرام وأتوب إليه. All of us together. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة لابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك توعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Just a few announcements before we move to Salatul Asr. The silsila of majalis at Masjid-e-Ali will continue inshallah tonight. Same time after Namaz-e-Isha. We will have brief amal of Shab Qadr. Following that, inshallah, we will have the majlis to commemorate the shahadat of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wassalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Tonight's majlis, inshallah, will also conclude with the Shabiya Tabut, which will be brought out, inshallah, tonight. Kids' amal are also taking place Friday, April 22nd, today, at 9 p.m. for ages 5 and 9 in the men's hall, and other programs for the kids. So tonight, inshallah, majlis will be after Maghrib, and tomorrow night's majlis, inshallah, will be before Maghrib. So keep that in mind. The majlis for the day of Shahadat, inshallah, will be before Maghrib prayers, just like we've been starting our programs at 6:45 p.m. We'll start with Majlis Aza, and we'll conclude the majlis with Salatul Maghrib, which is about 8:05, and after that, inshallah, the regular program that we continue. Sunday night. So Sunday night will be the night of 23rd. We will have all night amal, inshallah. That'll start at 9:30 p.m. with the common amal, as well as the tradition that we usually do brief. After the brief amal, we do brief fundraising as well. This is the night for giving, so make sure that you come prepared for that as well. And then following that, we will have the all night long amal, which includes Dua Joshan Kabir, includes all the surahs that we recite, the 3 surahs, and then inshallah 100 rakat salat, that is also part of that. So do take part in these programs that are coming up. Very quickly, let's recite a Surah Fatiha for all of your marhumeen, especially marhuma Dali Rizvi, widow of marhum Syed Ali Naqi Rizvi, who passed away earlier today, as well as all of your marhumeen. Just also mention on that, marhuma's janaza, Salatul Janaza will take place immediately after Salatul Jum'ah or Salatul Asr in this case. You don't need your shoes, you can just go across these doors to Hazrat Abu Talib Hall, and inshallah Salatul Janaza will take place over there. Right after Salatul Janaza, we'll be moving toward Forest Green Park, Bahisht-e-Zahra Cemetery for the burial. So take part in this as well. Lastly, let's recite 5 times this dua sihat for all of those people who are in need of dua, those who are suffering, struggling, going through a difficult time, not just here in our community, but across the globe. In Afghanistan, those who are under attack and those who are recovering from their injuries, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provide them recovery and also protect all the mu'mineen around the world. Let's recite this ayat 5 times. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Amma yujibu al-muttarra idha da'ahu wa yakshifu as-su. Amma yujibu al-muttarra idha da'ahu wa yakshifu as-su. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء ويجعلكم خلفاء الأرض أإله مع الله قليلا ما تذكرون. Also, I'tikaf started from this morning, and there are, alhamdulillah, some individuals who are sitting here for 10 nights or 10 days, and there are, mashallah, a few ladies as well who are also doing I'tikaf. You don't have to sit for 10 days if you don't want to. You can do it for 3 days minimum, and you can start on any day at Fajr, and then finish at Maghrib on the 3rd day. So during these 10 nights and the last 10 nights of month of Ramadan, where we seek for the freedom and emancipation from our sins, this is the best retreat to be in the masjid and to do ibadat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I'tikaf is being held right here, started this morning, and inshallah conclude on May 1st. But you can definitely take part in it by just sitting here for bare minimum 3 days. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن عليا ولي الله أشهد أن عليا حجة الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفره إنه كان توابا الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سمع الله لمن حمد الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر بحول الله وقوته يقوم ويقعد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد كذلك الله ربنا الله أكبر اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد رب أوزعني أن أشكر نعمتك التي أنعمت علي وعلى والدي وأن أعمل صالحا ترضاه اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سمع الله لمن حمد الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر الحمد لله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد بحول الله وقوته يقوم وأقعد الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سمع الله لمن حمد الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده يا لطيف ارحم عبدك الضعيف الله أكبر الحمد لله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر
الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد تسبيح الله الله أكبر الله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا علي يا عظيم يا غفور يا رحيم أنت الرب العظيم الذي ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير وهذا شهر نظمته وكرمته وشرفته وفضلته على الشهور وهو شهر الذي فرضت صيامه علي وهو شهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان وجعلت فيه ليلة القدر وجعلتها خيرا من ألف شهر فيا ذا المن ولا يمن عليك من علي بفكاك رقبتي من النار في من تمن عليه وأدخلني الجنة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين
Today recited a brief ziyarat of Amir al-Mu'mineen. You try to do rakat namaz of the Hadiyah ziyarat at your convenience. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum ya Nabi Allah. Assalamu alaikum ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. Wa ya Deen wa Qaid al-Ghurr al-Muhajjalin. Assalamu alaikum ya Bab Allah ya Ain Allah al-Nazira wa Dawul Basitata wa Uzn al-Waida wa Hikmat al-Baliga wa Nimat al-Sabiga wa Nikmat al-Damiga. Assalamu ala Qasim al-Jannati wa Nar. Assalamu ala ni'matullahi ala al-abrar wa nikmatullahi ala al-fujjar. Assalamu alayka ya sayyid al-muttaqin al-akhyar. Assalamu ala akhi Rasulullah wa ibn ammi wa zawj ibnati wal makhluq min tinati. Assalamu ala al-asl al-qadim wal far al-karim. Assalamu ala samr al-jani. Assalamu ala bil hasan aliyin. Assalamu ala shajrat al-tuba wa sidrat al-muntaha. Assalamu adam as-sifatullah wa nuh nabiyillah wa ibrahim khalilullah وموسى كليم الله وعيسى روح الله ومحمد نبي الله ومن بين من النبيين والصديقين والشهداء والصالحين व उसना उलाइका रफ़ीकन अस्सलाम अला नूरिल अनवार वसील अतहार व नासिर खयार अस्सलाम अला वालिदिल आइमतिल अबरार अस्सलाम अला हब्लिल मतीन व जंबिल मकीम व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू या मौलाया या मिन लहुजतन ज़ाहिरन आरिफन बिहक़्क़िका मुग़लियन लिअउलियाइक मुआदिन लिअदाइक मुतक़र्रिबन लिल्लाहि बिज़ियारतिक फशवली इंदल्लाहि रब्बी व रब्बिका फ़ी ख़लातत रकबती मिनन नार व कवज़ाइ हवाइजी हवाइज दुनिया वल आखिरा। अस्सलामु अलैकुम या अहल बैत नबिय्य जमीअन व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू। अस्सलामु अलैकुम साहिब असर व ज़मान या खलीफत रहमान या इमाम अल इंस वल जान या काबत अल ईमान या तफसीर फ़ुरक़ान। अस्सलामु अलैकुम शरीकल क़ुरआन। अस्सलामु अलैकुम या मामा रिज़वाना अज्जलल्लाहु फ़रजक व सहलना मख़रजक व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू।